This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Right. There he is. How you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm all right, man. Just hanging, doing stuff around the house. How you feeling?
Good. I'm starting to think I have some second email of yours that you never used anymore, and somehow I'm sending links to that one too.
I guess so. I was looking in my email and I couldn't find it, not in the spam, not in the regular. And so I didn't get it. And so I popped in the Sunday chat.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of it because I bet you it's an old email that you have, because we all have them. Like,
it's got to be.
You open it, you close, and you just you never use it.
You might be
again.
sending it back to the ESPN email or something.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure if Prodigy is still around, my email is there, and Lycos and Excite. And AOL and
AOL. You remember AIM? 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 That was like the
yes, the instant messenger thing. Yes,
exactly.
I created one when I was doing radio, and that stuff came out. I created one so fans could get on there and talk to me while I'm on the air.
Really?
How about that? Dope. Yeah, exactly. That was kind of, I started a chat board. Whoa, we got an earthquake going on. Are you there? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm trying to have my my phone holder better.
Nothing
so you guys
better than live. You need me to purchase you one? You got a good phone holder there?
I got a solid one. I'm rigging my my TV setup so that I can do it with my phone. I usually do it with my laptop, but my laptop's somewhere in my boxes of stuff while I'm moving. So
you look like that Eagles receiver last night late in the game.
Yeah. Fumbling the ball.
And you know what? The whole 72 Dolphins thing for me was all bullshit.
Yeah.
I didn't care about that because I knew the Eagles weren't going to go undefeated. So to me, that's the silliness that people are celebrating. To me, I was just having fun that now Tua is the only guy left in the NFL that is undefeated at 7-0 in games he started and finished. That's to me what that game signified, because I didn't care about the 72 thing because there's so many games left. Come on, dude. I've seen better teams than this Eagles team make a challenge for this. The Eagles
absolutely.
Team was nice and all that, but they weren't going to go undefeated. Give me a break.
No, absolutely. Briefly on the AIM, my first email, you would have fun with this. My first email address was thebeast141@aim.com. The Beast. I don't know why that was my nickname. I was a football player back, so I felt pretty good about myself. I was like 95 pounds probably when I made that email, but I felt like I was the Beast. And so, but no, I think, officially Tua will have a 7-1 record because they give him the loss from the Bengals game because he started that game. But like you said, 7-0 in games that he started and finished. Hurts obviously lost, so that does give him that moniker. I
can't give him a loss if he didn't finish it either, because
Well, I'm saying it's just how it goes. It's like it's like you're a baseball pitcher, you pitch a gym, and then the bullpen blows it. You don't get the win.
And you don't get the loss either. You don't get the loss either.
That is true. But if you have runners on base and they give up the runs, they count on your docket.
They counted on yours. Right. Then that's when you would get the loss if your offense can't cover it up after. But you are correct on that. But I know if our boy plays, this team's like 9-1 or 10-0 right now. So I don't know. It's here's another. I love crushing Tua narratives. You know that. This has been my orgasm right now for 2 decades now, right? Well, because the everybody that keeps moving the goalposts, it's like, well, no, it's the offense. It's Mike McDaniel. It's the receivers. Well, did you see Ryan Smith from PFF? Did you see his stat?
Yeah.
Did you see the stat?
Yep.
Okay. 37.7% of Tua's passing yards this season after the catch are the lowest percentage of any QB through 10 weeks with a minimum of 125 dropbacks. So the pass is getting more of the yards than the yak overall. Right. So when everybody's talking about, it's the yak and all that, well, guess what? It's, again, there's another narrative that the kid is moving the chains,
Yeah. The thing about it, we talked about it a little bit on Sunday, is that like if you watch him, he's throwing receivers open before they even make their break. And so like he is like his confidence, his timing, his presence and anticipation. I don't know if I've seen a quarterback who's been better in those 4 aspects in the league this year, and that includes Patrick Mahomes. And so I think that Tua's playing tremendous ball, and I think it was dope for the detractors, particularly, to have a game where Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were not having the video game numbers, and Tua still was feasting. Obviously they have a big impact on the offense. Let's not sugarcoat that, but Tua has been just as big, if not bigger, than any of their impact put together because of how his flow is within the offense and his control of the offense as a whole. So I thought that element of it really took a blow to whatever the narrative is that, hey, it's only Tyreek or it's only Tyreek and Jalen the reason why Tua's doing this.
And the 2 best throws of this past week, the athlete was there in place.
Right.
But both were covered. Okay.
Yeah.
Waddle on the sideline was perfectly covered.
Right.
It's just he threw the most impeccable ball because that's the only throw you can make in that situation to complete that pass. And he made that throw. And the one to Sherfield, he was covered. He just put it over the top where only Sherfield could get it. So, that's where you have to, kind of separate church and state here. Yeah, the talent's doing the job, but dude, the ball placement is right there where you need it.
Absolutely.
And that's what Tyreek was bragging about in the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The most accurate quarterback in the league.
He's running routes. He's going, this dog's throwing me in stride. I'm going to kill it this year, because it's not once. It's not twice. It's 47 straight times that he's throwing it to you in stride. You know what I'm saying? Because the inaccurate quarterback, once in a while he'll get it right. But more often than not, you're coming back, you're turning around for the ball, you're making it, you're slowing down in the process. And as you know, in this league, just a millisecond, that's all you need for a defender to close the gap, and you're done. And so that's why, throwing and threading it the right way is so important in this league. This week, what would you work on if you're the head coach of the Miami Dolphins? What are you working on during the bye week?
Yeah, I think I would probably start on the defensive side of the ball and just say, hey, they had a really good game this past week. But I think that what they're going to be really challenged on, particularly in December and January football, is can you cover with the defensive backs and the pass rush that you currently have? And so I would try to figure out my personnel and what I have in the defensive back group, because it is what it's going to be at this point. I'm not expecting or counting on Byron Jones to be back. So you're looking at, Xavier, Cater, you're looking at Keon Crossing, you're looking at Justin Bethel and Noah. And so you look at those 5 guys, how can we maximize the talent in that group? The safety group, obviously you're not having Brandon Jones. You got a mixture of Eric Rowe and Vern McKinley. What can I do to maximize this group? Does it mean we're playing more zone coverage? How can we get better in that? Can we play man? Can we play a certain element of man where we can still succeed with these guys? And then pass rush wise, obviously no Emmanuel Ogbah for the rest of the season. So what type of defensive fronts are we going through where we have a little bit of smaller pass rush guys and, Bradley Chubb and Andrew Van Ginkel and, Melvin Ingram sort of taking on a mixture of more snaps in that Emmanuel Ogbah role. Maybe you play Zach Sealer a little bit more and play him on the outside, or Christian Wilkins playing that 3-4 defensive end at times as well. So to me, it's figuring out how your personnel works on that defensive side of the ball. And then offense, there's not much to fix. I think you just solidify that offensive line, that 5 as your group, and say, hey, you're our guys until proven otherwise, and continue to get that run game. We saw a big taste of Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert having their best game as a running team behind that O-line. Keep running that football, because as we talked about Sunday, that makes you multi-dimensional. And if you're a team that you don't know if you're going to run the ball downhill with Jeff Wilson, if you're going to pass the ball to Tyreek or Jalen Waddle, or if you're going to hand it on the outside to Raheem Mostert, that makes you one of the most unpredictable and best offenses in football. And so I would continue to harp on that on the offensive side of the ball.
What are you hearing? Any kickers coming in today?
No, I haven't heard any kickers coming in. You know, I think the Dolphins are going to stick with Jason Saunders. And you know, we talked about it. I would bring in kickers. I would definitely, you know, see what's going on and at least put some pressure on him because Jason's missed a lot of kicks this season that he should make. But you know, the coach has trust in him, and you know, you gotta hope.
Well, he said the right things, but then he followed up with, "Well, we always do our due diligence in every position."
Exactly. And,
so I think he kind of left the door open in the back end.
I think that sort of thing sort of says, "Hey, we believe you're going to get it right, but you better get it right." Like we come out here in this Houston game and you missed another extra point, that might be you know the final straw. Like I think it goes from, "Hey, we're not worried at all," to "We hope and we believe he can fix it, but he's got to show it to us," sort of deal. So, you know, maybe you and I might have already been like, "Hey, we're done." He might be getting closer to that point, but maybe not there yet.
What I would do is I would find somebody I can stash on the practice squad.
Yeah.
And have them work out for the next couple of weeks with Sanders.
Yeah.
And
having a kicking contest essentially, right?
And listen, if he's too fragile to handle that, then you got the wrong kicker.
No, it's competition. So, you have competition at every spot. So
exactly.
You know, I have absolutely no problem with that. You have 16 practice squad spots. I'm sure one of the guys on your practice squad can be expendable enough to save a spot for a kicker, you know? And if Jason kicks better and you don't need him, then you cut him after a few weeks. It doesn't really do you any harm. So yeah, I'm with it. That's what I would do. But like I said, you and I are not the head coach of the Dolphins. So whatever Mike does, he does.
But I'm kind of intrigued by that because I would have at least got some competition at least. Okay, I get it. He's been a very good kicker, but this shit started last year with him, and it's continued into this year. And this is a league. You know, somebody was saying, "Oh, I'd like the Dolphins to come back out of the bye week and be dominant." And I'm like, dude, their defense is impossible to be dominant with all those injuries. They're going to bend. And you just hope that they don't break and they find ways to make plays. But there's not going to be a dominant team. And so, because this NFL is so crazy, because the Commanders can beat the Eagles, because, you know, who just beat the Bills?
The Vikings.
No. Before that, somebody, a bad team.
The Jets.
The Jets beat the Bills, right? And
although the Jets beat the Dolphins too.
Yeah, but they beat two backups. Yeah. The Jets have won a lot of games against backup quarterbacks.
They have.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot of breaks. I'm just not that big a believer of the Jets, and especially without Breece Hall, I think that's a major. Right. But my point is, you know, the Packers will lose to the Lions. You're going to be stuck in some close games, whether you like it or not, because that's this league. And then that's where I'm worried about Jason Sanders, because it's going to happen, doggy. It might happen towards the end of the regular season, or it might happen in the playoffs. And if he fails at that moment, you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass because you've been watching this message sent to you since last year, and you did nothing about it.
Yeah, so you got to be able to trust your kicker, man. It's a huge value. You saw it last night. I mean, Washington's kicker kicked a 55-yard field goal, made it, and a 58-yard field goal. They win that game essentially by 6 points outside of the late touchdown because their kicker can make a 55-plus yard field goal. There's maybe 5 or 6 teams in the league who probably feel good about their kicker kicking 55-plus, and I don't think the Dolphins are one of them. So, you want to feel good about your – exactly.
He can't hit 50.
Right.
He's over in the 50 category.
Yeah. And so the kicker, as we know, that's such a confidence position. You know, some of it's skill, but a lot of these guys, they're here because they have the ability to make it. It's a mental. If you start missing it, do you lose the guy? You know, do you lose it? Do you lose them? And if you lose them, that's your word, because sometimes you'll see guys shank 4 extra points in a row because it's in their head, you know? And so, they got to get that right. And if not, then they got to move on.
Josh Allen, is he missing Brian Dable? 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
That's a good question, but
as well, and yet Brian Dable is getting the max out of what I think is a much lesser quarterback with the New York Giants. So you tell me, what's real, what's Memorex?
Yeah, so Brian Daboll was excellent for Josh Allen. This is the first time in Josh Allen's career that he hasn't had that stability of Daboll, McDermott, and Ken Dorsey. Now he just has Ken Dorsey and McDermott. And so it's clearly a factor. But I will say early part of the season, the first 4 or 5 games, they were looking good with Ken Dorsey. I honestly think that this is more on Allen than it is on the coaching. I think that Allen is in a situation where he's reverting to some bad tendencies. Maybe that's part of that's coaching. But too often late in games, you're seeing him force plays that he had got better at not forcing. 10 interceptions so far this year, leads the NFL for Josh Allen. He's struggling a lot in late games. And this is something that's traveled with the Bills for a while. I mentioned it on TV earlier this year, and a lot of people were like, it doesn't matter. It does matter. The Bills are 2-8 in one-score games dating back to the start of last year. That's just that's a team that is struggling to find a way to win close games. They either blow you out or they lose close games. And they have the talent to blow you out, but what happens if you're in that nasty game? They've had a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball, like we've seen in Miami. And so they have a 33-30 game. That might have been a 33-14 game if they had all their defense, but you don't. And so can you get that last drive with all the pressure on you? Allen had a chance and he threw a pick. And so to me, that's Allen maybe more than it is the coaching.
Yeah, and they're not running the ball nearly as dominant as they have been in the past.
Yeah. Even with Josh Allen. Josh Allen hasn't been running the ball as effectively. And so they've been using Devin Singletary. He's had some spurts, but not a lot of consistency there. And, their defensive backs in particular have been getting exposed. Justin Jefferson went for almost 200 yards last game. And, this is a team that, I think Stephon Diggs said it after the game. They're blinking a little bit. They're blinking in the face of pressure. And so it's not all over. I think they have plenty of talent. I think they're going to be there at the end. But everybody was crowning them. And I think it's, you're seeing that it's a little too early to crown them because they have a lot of things to work out.
All right, 2 things before I let you go. Austin Jackson, what do we know? You got a whole bye week. Does it look like he'll come back after the bye week for the Houston game?
Yes. He actually was active this past week. He was active as an active player just on the bench. And so I think that, he may not have been fully 100% healthy, but I anticipate after the bye 2 weeks from now, he'll be fully ready to go health-wise. And then it's up to the Dolphins' decision.
What I mean, that's what I mean by
and
are they going to insert him or
so,
do you not mess with what you got going on?
From what I understand, they're going to stick with their starting 5 until something changes. Maybe, somebody has an incredible practice week, somebody gets hurt, somebody struggles, that creates change. But I think they like what they saw this past week, and I don't think there's a rush for them to change anything up front.
All right. And then finally, what do we know about Byron Jones, bro?
No update means the same as it's been throughout. I don't think they're expecting, or I would say, here's how I would say it. I would think that they would take it as a pleasant surprise if Byron Jones came back and contributed anything to them this season.
Have you seen him in the last month in the locker room when you're there?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't seen him. I've seen him from time to time on game days, walking out in street clothes with the team. So I know he is here. He's alive. He's not.
He's alive. He's alive.
Of our imagination, but I have not seen him much in the locker room. To be fair, I haven't been in the locker room consistently, but I have not seen him in the locker room in probably over a month.
All right, good stuff. What do you got going on this week? I know the Dolphins are off, but they don't allow you to slack.
No,
what are you doing this week?
No, man. They're gonna get their money's worth regardless. And so I'll be doing TV here from home tomorrow and Friday on NFL Network from 1 to 3. And so you'll see me there. And then I actually have to go up. Got to look in my coat closet because I got to go to Buffalo this week and do the Buffalo-Cleveland game. And so I had to knock some cobwebs off my coats and drink my orange juice and vitamins. I don't know. I think they figure, hey, you're the guy who always gets the warm weather. I do not apologize for it, and so they're giving me a dose of what I guess everybody else gets. So yeah, it's
you give them a bad stock tip or something.
No. I feel like I've been doing good work. I did 2 games for him last week. I did Thursday night football and then still covered the Sunday Dolphins game. So you figure that hard work gets rewarded with a nice warm weather team. But here's the thing. Here's the odd thing about this week. All the Florida teams are on buys. Miami, Tampa, and Jacksonville all on buys. And then the other team,
How about New Orleans or the
I think
Falcons?
they're on the road. I think they're on the road. And then Tennessee's on the road, Thursday Night Football in Green Bay, which I did not want to go to either. And so really a lot of the Southern teams, they're not home this week. And so they just send me up the road, and up the road is Buffalo.
Okay. Wow. That's well, go visit Niagara Falls or something. I mean,
I may go to Niagara
you know what I do when I go to Buffalo? I go to Toronto.
I may do that. I may bring my passport up there Saturday and see if I can spend a Saturday up in Toronto or Niagara Falls.
Well, it's like a 45-minute drive or something. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would do when I would go to Buffalo. It's like, like the late great Mad Dog would say, "Ma'am, give me a room without a view." And so that's you don't want a view of Buffalo. Just get in the car and get your ass out to Toronto and have a great time, because that is a killer town. Toronto. Follow them on Twitter.
I've actually never been to Toronto, so I may check it out.
Seriously, dude?
No.
Oh, you got to go, man.
Yeah.
You got to go. Back in the day, we had some guys, I'm not going to say who they are, but they were big on coming back with some aspirins from there, because apparently they could get some just regular aspirin. It's no drugs or anything. It's just one guy suffered from headaches, and he goes, dude, the aspirin they have here, I don't know what the hell it was, that they don't sell it in the U.S., and so he would smuggle it back across and take it home. It's just aspirin, but it was just like the weirdest thing that he would buy there. And I was like, all right, dude, I'll take your word for it, I guess. You know, Excedrin works for me, you know, but that's to each his own, man. We're all different. Right. All right, my brother, be safe in your travels, and enjoy Toronto.
Absolutely.
You got it.
I actually like the wings in Buffalo. I'm going to go check them out.
Apparently Marcel says you don't go to Anchor Bar, you go other places.
No, Bar Bill, I think, one of the spots that's been recommended. So
there you go.
I don't mind.
Don't just when you're around Marcel, if you want to really piss him off, just tell him Anchor Bar has the greatest wings in the world, and he'll just lose his shit right there on you. Okay, just do that. All right,
my guy.
You got it. There you go, the great Cameron Wolfe. And when we talk about KSDT CPAs, they do it all. Of course, they're going to do your taxes. They're going to do an amazing job, too. They're going to help your business out, too. Forensic evaluation, business evaluation, management advisory services. They've got so many things. They've got the healthcare advisory, property management, wealth management, valuation. When it comes to tax, they do domestic and international tax. You name it, from estate and gift tax planning, state and local tax planning, payroll, sales, you name it. International taxation, payroll issue management. They do assurance. They do it all. And they've got 3 offices in South Florida, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you, your business will be in a much better standing once you call KSDT and allow them to help you make your business even more efficient than it is right now. 305-670-3370. That's 305-670-3370. And they do so well in really analyzing what's coming up in the market, what's going to happen down the line, 3 to 6 months to a year down the line. They really help their clients prepare their businesses for some of the downfalls that are coming in the economy and those kind of things. Please call the people at KSDT CPAs. They really understand that they've got a crypto department. So for those of you that are crypto investors like myself, when you do your taxes at the end of the year, well, you've got to now add also your crypto. You got to have people that know and understand crypto. KSDT does too. 305-670-3370. Offices in Dadeland, in Weston, and in West Palm Beach. KSDT CPAs.